Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on? Welcome to fourth quarter. We are back live. You can catch us streaming on all podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, iHeartMusic. So iHeartRadio is iHeart. Okay. Apple, Google, everything. You can also catch us on YouTube. We go live Tuesdays now. Just probably better because everything's pretty much like new, right? Refresh. You're still in a news cycle. So we're here once a week, guys. And we got to start off with Deion Sanders gets blown out. Mo. They got blown out by Oregon. Are you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised. I mean, I thought it would be better than what it was. Closer than what it was, but I'm not surprised. Oregon was just the better team. I think Oregon was feeling disrespected, so they came out and just wanted to show that they're a problem in the Pac-12. And I think you can just see the speed. You can see the speed difference, and you really can tell the difference. Not even in skills, but you can tell the difference up front. Like you could tell the difference between Oregon and Colorado just up front on the offensive defensive line, just total, domination. I think Colorado, that's definitely something they want to address through the portal and through recruiting next year. And I think that's gonna be a problem that's gonna happen to them throughout. Skills is wise, they can run with anybody, but if you can't block and you can't get pressure, you're gonna be in trouble. So I think they still, I still can see Colorado as a 7-8 win team, but I think it definitely got exposed a little bit.
Craig, what do you think?
I knew they were going to lose. I thought they might be able to keep it somewhat closer than that score, but I just thought they weren't in the same league as Oregon. I just thought they had some. They struggled against Colorado State. They struggled against TCU the first game. Kind of struggled a little bit against Nebraska the second game where they blew them out. Their defense is just not there anyway. I mean, they gave up 42 points, I think, to TCU. They were losing to Colorado State, and they had to come back on that team before it went to overtime. And then they also didn't have their best player, or I guess one of the best players, in the corner. I can't remember his name, but the cornerback who was taken out. Travis Hunter. So that was unfortunate. I don't think he was really going to make a big difference because, I mean, they were just way better than Colorado at this point. And, it's kind of to be expected because this team, we mentioned it so many times, they got all these new players in there. It's a new staff. It's just a whole new team. It's like an expansion team, pretty much, what's going on here with this team. So when you're kind of like an expansion team and you're still trying to get your feet wet, I guess, and you're going against an established Oregon team, it's just not. I mean, it's just not going to be a close game to me. And the same thing's probably going to happen next week against USC, even though it's a home game. They're just overmatched. Now, in a couple of years, if they keep kind of some of the same players, and then they recruit really, really well, then I think Colorado could be a really, really solid team going forward, especially with Deion Sanders there. He's going to put players in anyway, just because of who he is. But man, I just didn't. On that first drive, and they just marched down the field. I was like, yo, it's not going to end well. I mean, they marched down the field in like 2 minutes, and they had like a penalty or something like that, and they ended up scoring in like 4 or 5 minutes anyway. But it was just nonstop, and it's just growing pains. This is what's going to happen. This is probably going to be one of their lowest points in terms of the program as long as Deion is there, but. It's just, it's just growing pains. They got a tough schedule. I think before the end of the season, if they can win like 7 games, I think it'll be a success. Bowl eligible will be a success. So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. Well, I'm not really looking forward to it because I think it's going to be this kind of the same result. But I don't know, man. It's just going to be a tough year.
Yeah, so I was actually at the Bowie State home game. It was raining. Been raining like 8 days straight here, guys. But nobody was at the game, and then I went out, and I ended up catching some of it, watching it with my fraternity brothers, and the head coach of Bowie, and I was just like, "Jeez, man, that's just the." He said it was tough, you know. I was like, man, what do you say to your players after you get beat like that? You know, the Oregon was just scoring at will, and I kind of knew, like, I knew, right? I knew. Um, I didn't pick them to win this game. They're probably gonna lose back to back. But Deion did say he needed help in the trenches. That's what they're not good at. But this is first year, and I know the Oregon coach was talking trash, but we'll see if he's a good coach without Bo Nix, who I don't think is a good quarterback anyway. That's just me. We'll do our quarterback. Maybe we'll do that. Um, maybe we'll do that sometime this season. Rank the best college quarterbacks we come out and which teams we think they fit. But I'm just not a fan of Bo Nix. I saw a stat the other day that was crazy. Did you know Bo Nix played against Justin Herbert in college?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So, but
Auburn, right?
was it Auburn? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So, been in college for 8 years. Yeah, Justin Herbert been in the league 4 years. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I think that Deion knew this was going to happen. Not knew it. He's going to compete in every game, but he knows with some programs he's probably going to need a year or two to get the right recruits in. But if he's able to get 8 wins, I think he can 7 to 8 wins. That's phenomenal from going 1-11 to being bowl eligible. I don't know if you know this. Warren Sapp already said he's going to be on the coaching staff, coaching the D line next year. So, yeah, I think you don't think that's good.
I just don't like Warren Sapp in general. But
Oh, why? You don't like his? You just don't like him?
I don't like some of the allegations that happen against him.
Oh, okay.
And I don't like him when he was on Barbecue Pitmasters. He was a judge on that show, man. I didn't like him on the show. I liked it when he was at Miami, though.
Yeah, he. I follow him on Instagram. He breaks down a lot of film. That's most of what his Instagram is. Is he just breaks down film of D linemen. I think he'll be an excellent coach. But he said on Rich Eisen, he was like, I talked to Deion. He said, I'm coming next year. And I think that'll be huge. That's another big recruiting, right? Like, if you are a top D line in the country and Warren Sapp's your coach, you going to Colorado. That's right, Mo. That's what I'm thinking, right?
No, that's more to say.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Mo coaches. You know what I'm saying? But Warren Sapp said he's been thinking about it a while. Because he would go to different camps, NFL camps every year, and I'm like, is he going to coach? So he went to Deion's. He went to Jackson State last year. Went to Colorado. He was like, all right. Deion was like, we'll make room for you. I think that's a huge addition. But hey, listen, they lost. It was Oregon. That's okay. Wasn't the worst loss of the week. I'll tell you that much. Mo, wasn't the worst loss of the week. Everybody knows what we're talking about. We about to get right into it after Mo breaks down his top 4 college football rankings.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into it so we can get to that shameful whipping that happened. I got Georgia, still undefeated, 2-time defending national champs. They have Auburn coming up this weekend. Should be a good game, but with the troubles I seen Auburn have up front with Texas A&M, I think they might be in trouble.
Okay.
Michigan, I got Michigan at number 2. Harbaugh came back, solid run game. Got to get some things fixed in the passing game, but still got them at number 2. They got Nebraska. I got Texas at number 3. Strong performance. I like them on both sides of the ball. They got tough tests coming up versus a ranked Kansas team who's 4-0 and they're 4-0. Should be a good matchup. I got Florida State at 4. They'll be off this weekend, I believe. Gusty win. At the end of the day, sometimes you got to win and survive, especially when you're facing a rival like that. And Clemson, I don't care what Clemson record is or how bad things going, that's still Clemson.
Yeah.
So it's still a tough win in my eyes. On the outside looking in right now, I got USC at 5. They got Colorado, of course, this weekend. And then at 6, I got Penn State, who
USC is at 5, yeah.
No. Who's at 6?
I got Penn State.
Oh.
Where's Ohio State? I'm not an Ohio State fan, but where's Ohio State? They just beat the top 10 team.
Notre Dame, right?
They did. But here's my thing with that.
Okay.
I gotta see more out of the quarterback. I understand they got dynamic receivers, but that quarterback just scares me. And when the lights gonna come on bright, he made some good plays again at the last minute against Notre Dame. Some questionable coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, so let me say this. I flash with it with Florida State and Ohio State, but right now, I truly believe a neutral site field. I truly believe all 4 of those teams, even Florida State, will beat Ohio State on a neutral field. I even think Florida State right now will beat Ohio State on a neutral field, like a neutral site bowl game, and nobody's home field neutral site. I think Florida State could get them.
Okay.
I think because I don't know if Ohio State because that quarterback could match score for score.
Mo, let me ask you this before we go on. What's your thoughts on Michigan?
They're not as explosive as last year in the run game. But I think it's still there. I think dynamically they got to pick up, but now you got to look at it as now, Harbaugh's back. Let's see how it picks up. Let's see the steam they pick up on coming up. I think they don't have, looking at their schedule, I don't think they have a real tough game until I got to look at it until whenever Penn State is, and they don't face Ohio State till November. Possibly Maryland if we keep it going.
Oh man, yeah, they're not even
as a trap game.
Yeah, they're not even ranked.
They shouldn't be.
Yeah, because they haven't played anybody. Let me see what I'm gonna tell you their schedule right now.
But I know this might piss off Craig a little bit, but I know it's gonna piss off Craig just a tad bit because who he is and what he loves. But shout out to Duke for this weekend, first time college game day. College game day is going to be in Durham for a football game for the first time. They facing Notre Dame. I don't know if they're going to win, but it's a good thing, good look for the football program when all you've been known as is the basketball school.
Yeah. All right, Mo, you ready? Yeah, you ready? Michigan has Nebraska, then they have Minnesota, then they have Indiana. Then they have Michigan State.
Right.
Then they have Purdue. Then they have Penn State, November 11th. That's probably gonna be big.
Yeah, it is.
Big game. That's a big game. Then they got Maryland. And then they got Ohio State. Last game of the year. That's interesting. Very interesting. Some people got them in a if they went out, are they in the championship?
They in the playoffs.
They top 4 if they went out? I guess so, because if they beat Penn State and Ohio State.
Yeah, they're sitting at 2 right now. So if they went out, they're most likely be 2. Depends on Georgia, because Georgia doesn't play anybody, really. Georgia. But I don't think they're going to leapfrog. They could leapfrog Georgia. I just don't think that's going to happen, though. But
Michigan is number 2. My bad. I'm sorry. Michigan is 2 in the ranking. Yeah, Georgia doesn't play nobody, and that's wild. But yeah, right now the 4 teams are Georgia, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State. And if Michigan beats Ohio State, Florida State has a chance to go to the playoff. If they win out, I think.
Well,
That Florida State and Duke game is going to be huge. And that Miami and Florida State game. Yeah, that Florida State and Duke game is going to be huge. But anyway, enough about college football. Let's get to the real meat and potatoes. Craig, Miami scored 70 points on Denver. What are your thoughts about that? What's your reaction? Have you ever seen a 70-point game? I don't know if I've been alive.
No, because I wasn't alive. I don't think.
I don't think I was alive.
But that's what happened in like 1966 or something. So no, I wasn't alive. Whoa. My bad. When I was watching games on my laptop, and I didn't have that game on because I thought, it was what it. I wasn't gonna watch that game. So I had like Detroit and Atlanta, and then I had Minnesota and the Chargers.
Yeah,
and then I was just like checking the scores and doing all, and then I looked up and it was like 35-21 or 35 to whatever it was, 35-10 or something like that at halftime.
Yeah,
and then you just kept scoring, and I was like, you guys got to stop scoring, man, because this is getting out of control. And then they had like 50-something points.
Yeah, when they had 56, I was like, wait a minute, it's the
third. They had 63, and I was like, yo, there's no way, man. They got it. And it was like still in like the third quarter, it was early the fourth quarter, I guess, or whatever. Yep. And then they scored again, and I was like, there's no. I was throwing stuff like pillows, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. So I've never seen teams score 70 points in a game. They had 35 in the first half, 35 in the second half. I mean, they were. I didn't have any belief or faith in Raheem Mostert. I mean, but he's
a beast, man.
Man, I don't know, man. Like, he looks really, really good. The young rookie that they got, he balled out finally. They finally gave him some touches. They did it without
the running back, right?
A Sane or whatever.
Yeah, he's going. People are.
Yeah, I can't. He from Texas A&M.
Yeah, they did it without Jalen Waddle. I mean, he put up 70 points, and then they
if Jalen Waddle was playing, he would have had 2 touchdowns.
Then they put Mike White in, and he's still throwing. He threw a touchdown to Robbie Anderson.
Yeah,
like it was just out of control, man. I never seen nothing like it. I stopped watching the other games that I had, or at least stopped watching the Lions game and put that game on instead. And they were just, I mean, it's those guys on the other side. They lace up their shoes and they put the pads on just like Minnesota, just like Miami does, and it just didn't seem like they belonged on the field with them.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson, I don't really put the blame all on him. I mean, he can do a lot better on offense, but that defense has to be accountable as well. And that offensive line has to, like everything else, everybody on that team has to be accountable.
Yeah.
And it starts at the top, which is the coaching staff. And Sean Payton, for what he said last year, talking about Nathaniel Hackett and how it was the worst coaching job ever and all this other stuff. And it was like he had so much negative comments to say about him. He can't. I mean, there's no way you can say anything about what he did last year. And he started out the season 2-1 last year. He ended horrible, but he started out 2-1. This team started out 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 weeks they've given up 105 points. There's just no excuse. There's no excuse in the NFL at this point, especially early in the season. Like, to just have this lapse, I guess. Like, he seemed like he's just way in over his head at this point. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to be back next year.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're going to roll with Sean Payton. Maybe he can get the quarterback that he wants, and maybe it'll be a lot better for him, or a better situation, or better results next year.
That's crazy.
But it's just not working out with him and Russell Wilson. They have talent.
Let me ask you this: with Russell Wilson, do you think a team is going to trade for him?
I wouldn't I mean, there might be a team out there that might want to take a chance on him if they, especially late towards the season, he still shows that he can play. Like he had 5 touchdowns and 1 pick coming into this week, and he was playing pretty well. He was like top 5 in QBR.
Yeah,
I mean, not QBR in passer rating. No, he looked good. Like he was doing the part. He kind of did it without Jerry Jeudy for the most part. It's just that his contract is crazy. I don't know if anybody really wants to take that on.
161.
And I mean, maybe they just don't believe that he can still play the position anymore like he used to. So it's just going to be, I mean, I think it could be a few teams out there looking for him, but I don't think the market's going to be super huge, even though he is a Super Bowl champion and all that other stuff. But I mean, you got to give Miami credit, man. I think they could have scored. I think they could have scored 100 points, honestly, if they just kept everybody in the game and just kept playing. And if they had Jalen Waddle, and if they really wanted to run the score up, I think they could have put up close to 100 points. It's like Kobe when he was playing against Dallas Mavericks and he had 63 at the end of 3 quarters.
Yep. Or
when he had 81. I just think he could have scored if he wanted to, if they really left him in the game.
That Dallas game was crazy. I think he could have scored 100 points.
But it was just I mean, that offense is out of control. The offense was the highest scoring offense last year when Tua was healthy, and it looks like the same thing again this year. So, man, this team is scary good. They got a big game coming up this week, though, so we'll see what happens. But man, it's an embarrassment, man. That's an embarrassing loss. Nothing. I can't say nothing else about it, but just that is an embarrassing loss.
That's crazy, Mo. What were your thoughts, man? 70 points.
Man, straight embarrassing. I mean, a rookie comes in there and give you 18 for 203. Tua, I think only missed 4 passes, if that, for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
Like I think they had over 700 yards total offense.
Yep.
Like just ridiculous, man. Like just ridiculous, man. But one thing I like Stephen A. Smith said, and they said is we can pass the blame on of course it goes to the head coach on top of everything else. But he was like, let's not look at the D coordinator was the former head coach at multiple teams, Vance Joseph. Here's the dude that's the D coordinator. You've been a head coach in multiple places. You've been a D coordinator for a while. Like you a fresh dude coming in the league, and like for your team to come out and look like that, unprepared, unmotivated, and your team look like that, yeah, that just
that's crazy because knowing, I mean, Stephen A.'s right? The defensive coordinator. You know what? It's so funny. Sean Payton talked all that trash with Nathaniel Hackett, right? Remember that? We did too. He can't hack it. At this point in time, Denver looks like it was a better coach team under Hackett because they look the same. The defense, at least we knew this. At least we knew that Denver's defense was top 10 in the league last year. We knew if they scored, if they held opponents under 17 points. If Denver would have scored 18 points, they would have won. They would have went to the playoffs. So it was like, okay, the offensive side of the ball is terrible. Let's hire Sean Payton. He brings in Vance Joseph. I don't know who the D coordinator for Denver was last year, but
it's the guy that was he's in Carolina now.
Yes, he is a great D coordinator. That's why y'all have a good defense. He's a great D coordinator.
Give up 37, but
yeah, but y'all, I still think y'all have a good defense. But you're not gonna get 70 put on you. Like this is crazy. Yeah, and Vance Joseph was a former NFL head coach, and I don't know what's going on in Denver because you can't blame Russell Wilson for this one. This is coaching. 70? The defense gave up 70 points.
Bro, this is a week after you gave up a double-digit lead against Washington.
So gave up a double-digit lead against Washington. The offense did everything they could against Washington. They put up 21. Washington drove down the field and scored. It's 4 70 plus point games in NFL history, including the points postseason. The 1940 Bears, they scored 73. The 1966 Washington team, they scored 72. And the 1950 Rams scored 70. I was not alive when an NFL team scored 70 points. But I know I've seen it now. And I can talk about it because I don't think it's going to happen for a very long time. Maybe I don't know. It's geared to 70 is crazy.
I don't even think any college.
70 is crazy.
This is like college teams scoring 70 points. I don't think there was a college team that scored 70 points Saturday.
It's crazy. This is the NFL. Oh, I was listening to shout out to Shannon Sharp, Ocho Cinco. They got a podcast together. And he said, Ocho, let me ask you this. What's the worst loss you had? He was like, probably 35-10. He was like, yeah, me too. I had a 35-10 loss. He said they got 50 put on them. How do you do? Like, how is the locker room's mindset when you have 50 points put on you? 50. And if they don't score 20, they're gonna got 60 or 70 put on them. What do you tell a team that? They're demoralized. The locker room is terrible, man. And I know Sean Payton.
Study, boy. I hate to see that locker room, that film study.
Man, and Sean Payton's talking all this trash, man, and he looks like he. Rob Parker says this all the time. He was like, he said that he was like he thinks that Sean Payton won one Super Bowl with Drew Brees in his prime is an overrated head coach. I don't think so. Maybe it's Russell Wilson, but they're going to draft a quarterback. I don't know who trades for Russell Wilson. I mean, if he puts up good numbers, I don't know what team would go get Russell Wilson at that contract. I don't know, man. I'm trying to go down some lists. So it wouldn't be Buffalo, wouldn't be the Jets, wouldn't be Miami. Could it be the Patriots? They'll probably be in the market for a quarterback. He's better than Mac Jones. But they don't like paying people, so I don't see that, right? Don't think it's going to be Baltimore. I don't think it's going to be any of the North teams. No Baltimore, no Cleveland, no Pittsburgh. Could be Tennessee. Could be Tennessee because Tannehill's not going to be there next year. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, they have Levis. They ain't even seen what Levis can do yet because he's been hurt.
Yeah, he's maybe. I don't know. He hasn't been able to beat out Malik Willis. We'll see. They did spend a second round pick on him. Not Jacksonville, not Houston, not the Colts, not Kansas City, not Denver, not the Chargers. Maybe the Raiders, but I don't see Josh McDaniels doing that.
He's not going to be there.
I'm trying to go down the list of teams. NFC Commanders, probably new regime. They're going to want to draft a quarterback. Or it's going to be Sam Howell. Cowboys, no. That's not Jerry's MO. Philly, no. The Giants, they just paid Daniel Jones. Carolina just drafted a quarterback. Maybe Atlanta because Desmond Ridder sucks. I knew that. Maybe Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield doesn't work out. New Orleans just paid Derek Carr. I don't know. Let's do the West. No San Francisco. No to the Rams. They got to deal with Stafford. No to Arizona because they have Kyler Murray. They might get Caleb Williams. No to Seattle because they got Geno Smith. No to the Lions. They got Jared Goff. No to Green Bay. They got Jordan Love.
I mean, Lions also got
Chicago. Maybe Chicago. But they look like maybe Chicago. They look like they about to have a number one pick.
Arizona's not going to be there either.
Maybe Minnesota. We'll see, but we'll see. But a team might take a flyer on him. But I mean, this is crazy. 50. They put up 70 points. We might never see this ever again in history. 70 points is a lot in the NFL. And we're going to go to that point. Chad Ochocinco said you can't even score 70 points in Madden. He said on all Madden, you can't score 70 points. He said he has to be in rookie mode. You got to be playing against a little kid. I was like, oh, man. Anyway, man, that's crazy. All right, Mo, what's your thoughts on the NFL week 3? Anything stand out to you?
Outside that whipping, outside that whipping, I mean, a lot of teams just disappointing. I mean, I thought Washington would play better than that. I didn't expect that kind of whipping. Dallas as a double-digit favorite, lose by double digits. They just look totally unprepared. And then I think Parsons or somebody came out and said you can't play down to your opponent.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like where do y'all get off? Like where do y'all think y'all have arrived at to play down to somebody? Like as if y'all really have done something in this league to play down to somebody, but that's it or there. Jacksonville kind of scares me. I didn't agree. I understand, but I didn't really agree with throwing Burrow out there last night. But I get you didn't want to go on 3 and you made a decision. I don't agree with that per se. But to each his own. I guess their doctors and head coach made a decision and said they could do it. Clearly, you can see they did a game plan that was not conducive to him being healthy. But they won at the end of the day. But overall, some good, some good, some bad. I like Cleveland. I'm now officially going to take Jets out and put Cleveland as my one of my playoff teams right now. I think they're going to be all right. I think Cleveland can make playoffs.
Oh, you crazy!
Hey, you don't think Cleveland get it?
You crazy, man. Oh, man. You should have did that 8 weeks ago. Oh, man, bro. You're hilarious, man. Shout out to Cleveland. No, they do. I have to look this up, but do they have the best defense in the NFL? Anyway, Craig, what are your thoughts on week 3, man?
Let me see. I have like 5 quick things. Number one, the Cowboys aren't the 85 Bears or the 2000 Ravens.
Nope.
Even though they came out and they said they had the best defense and all this other stuff. I mean, if that defense ain't getting pick sixes or sacking the quarterback or giving the offense a short field, it doesn't look like the offense can really move the ball. And, I mean, they just don't look like the same defense that was out there the first 2 weeks, especially to get beat by a guy who was studying to be like a NASA, I don't know, engineer or something like that. I don't know, but he wasn't even supposed to be out there, but there he was. Number 2, the Jaguars looking really, really shaky. I had them at like, you know what? I had them at 11 wins. Then James he was hyping them up, so he kind of like, okay, yeah, maybe. And then I changed it to like 12 or 13.
Man,
and now I just feel dumb. So
sorry about that, man.
Nah, man, don't worry about it. It's cool.
You had them at 11. I had them at 13. I don't know about that now.
I don't really know about it. They got a tough game coming up in London on Saturday. On Sunday. So we'll see how that goes. But
I'll be up
Jaguars, man. I thought they might get like maybe the 3rd seed. I had them at 4 at first, and James once again moved them up to 3. I'm not feeling good about it. This team should be doing way better than they are. At least they should have looked better against in defeat against the Chiefs, and they should have. I don't know what happened yesterday or Sunday to the Texans. Number 3, I got the Dolphins looking like the 2007 Patriots on offense. Their offense is out of control. We talked about it earlier. Number 4, we talked about this earlier too. Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton might be in over his head, even though I think he's going to be there next year, and Russell Wilson's probably going to be gone. I mean, just the comments that he made earlier this season about Nathaniel Hackett, and then how they got 70 put on him, man. It's just it's inexcusable.
That didn't age.
Last but not least, I don't think he's going to last the season. Well, unless he gets the team to the playoffs, he's not going to last the season, and that's Brandon Staley. I'm confused on why when I was watching the game, I think they even changed it to because after the Bills and the Commanders game, they put it on TV.
Yeah,
and I don't understand the decisions that he makes.
He's wild.
He had the ball on like the 20-yard line, 4th down. You're up 4. The Vikings have no timeouts. I don't know why he would go for it on 4th down.
He's wild enough.
It just, I mean, if they had lost that game, I think he was gone because that's a stupid decision. Punt the ball, let them go down the field, length of the field. It's not like they need a field goal; they need a touchdown. No timeouts. I know they have Addison and they have Jefferson, and then T.J. Hawkinson. But come on, man, there's no reason why you don't. It's like you don't trust your defense at that point, and then you put your defense out there on a short field, having them go out there and trying to make Kirk Cousins not throw a touchdown. Which fortunately it worked out for him because Kirk Cousins couldn't keep track of the time. Like it was bad clock management. That game was a mess down the end. But Brandon Staley got lucky on that one. And I think congratulations to Minnesota because I think he saved his job. Because he was gone. I think he was gone. There's no excuse for that. So that's my takeaways.
Oh man, for week 3, my takeaways are and then I'll get to my, my panic or not list. I got some things that I'm gonna say on there that's not on here. Sometimes in the NFL, if you pay a quarterback and you know who that quarterback is, you get them some outside weapons because you paid Daniel Jones a lot of money. Darren Waller's hurt again. Saquon's hurt again. They have no outside weapons. Kind of sucks, man. It sucks to be the Giants. They should have listened to us because I think we all said, hey, franchise Daniel Jones, pay Saquon Barkley. I feel like we all said that. We all were like, yeah. And they make this decision. Sometimes bad organizations are just bad organizations. That's it. And the Giants are going to not have a good year because of it. Interesting. Very early in the year, I'm going to talk about this in my panic mode, but the Falcons. I wasn't a believer in Desmond Ridder. I don't think Arthur Blake's a good coach. I think they're going to reset it next year. I think. Oh, what did I say?
Arthur Blank.
Oh, Arthur Blake's the owner. My bad. Arthur. He's good. Yeah, he's good. I think he's gonna.
Arthur Smith. Who's Arthur Smith?
I don't think he's a good coach. I just don't understand the weapons that you have. You have Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson. You have a good defense. Desmond Ridder is not a good quarterback. Maybe it's me, but from the games that I've been seeing, he's not good. And I like Desmond Ridder. I thought he was the best quarterback. And sometimes you're wrong. Quarterback positions, first of all, draft analysis on the player. Some are can't miss, like Jalen Carter's a can't miss, right? Bijan's a can't miss. Quarterbacks are probably the hardest to evaluate. And the Falcons, they just I don't know what type of offensive system he's running. I don't understand it. You have all these weapons, all of these weapons. And the running back, you got stable. I don't get it. Watch the Falcons reset next year. They're going to have to. They're going to have to. And yeah, the Jaguars. I'm going to talk to them about that on my panic list. Broncos. I don't know what Sean Payton is doing. When he called out Nathaniel Hackett, that is not aging well. Not at all. Because you can say it's Russell Wilson, but the coaching is an issue. The coaching is an issue. And Sean Payton, you're the head coach. Fix it. fix it. Because if not, then you were overrated. And the Raiders. Raiders actually played decent. But what's going on with the Steelers? What is going on? Their defense is getting exposed. That never happens. They have a lot of sacks, but Pittsburgh has one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Who would have ever thought about that? Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't know what's going on with them, man. I don't know. And it's very interesting. And Mo, finally, I understand that why they played Joe Burrow. Shout out to First Things First. I was watching Chris Bouchard. He was actually talking to a physician that I think Dr. Chow, who actually was a team doctor for 17 years. He said that the reason that Kevin Durant towards Achilles is that it was an Achilles strain. The calf strain was more towards his Achilles. Joe Burrow's calf strain isn't as severe. It's more about the level of pain tolerance, and it could get better during the season, Mo. So I don't think it's like, oh, he's going to tear it. I think Joe Burrow. I think if he keeps playing at that level, then it'll eventually heal itself. Because right now it's about pain tolerance. And they needed to win. If Joe Burrow didn't play and they would go 0-3, they're not. That's another bad pick for you, brother. Because 0-3 is tough to come back from. Let alone you know what I'm saying? Like 0-2, I get it. I get 0-2. Like, oh, okay, I'm 0-2. 0-3? 0-3, you're missing the playoffs. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. All right, guys. It's time to my segment. Is it time to press the panic button or not? And this is my segment where I just evaluate certain things of what's going on and where teams are at, and is it time to press the panic button? And the first team I have is I'm pressing the panic button on the Titans. It's a wrap. Either they're going to – Ryan Tannehill's a backup quarterback. I love Mike Vrabel as a coach, but they have to do something at that position. And that A.J. Brown trade is killing them softly. Every time they lose, there has to be a dagger in their side. And it's slowly turning because A.J. Brown has been to the Super Bowl and he's on a winning team. So, yeah, it's time to panic. It's time to press the button. If listen, I'm gonna be honest. If Russell Wilson comes up in the trade, they need to trade for him. He's a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. If Kirk Cousins is in trade talks, they need to trade for him. Maybe he could save their season. He's a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. But I'm telling you, Ryan Tannehill is done. It's ridiculous. Shout out to the Packers. Jordan Love, man. I got to give them some love, man. This is a quick thing. I like Jordan Love. I like him coming out of Utah. I'm a big fan. Not glitz and glamorous, but they're Green Bay's 2-1. And is it panic time or not for Jacksonville? Like Craig, I was fooled by the soft schedule and the playoff win against a bad Chargers team. Well, guess what? Is Jacksonville who we thought they were? Are they? Because they just got beat by the Texans. And shout out to me, that was my upset pick. Yes. Is Jacksonville going to win the division? At this point, looks like it's the Colts. That's what it looks like. I don't know. That division is wild. Because if Jacksonville doesn't win this week, they're 1-3. They're 1-3. That might be the work. That might be a pretty bad division in football, man. And Jacksonville can't get out of it. If they go 8-9 again, is Trevor Lawrence really that good? Is Doug Peterson that good of a coach? They're in must-win territory already. 4 weeks in, you're in must-win. That's never good for a team to be in must-win 4 weeks in. Hell yeah, it's time to panic. They need to get themselves together. Panic time for the Broncos. You lose by 50. That's crazy. 70 points. Sean Payton, panic button. Man, you either you're gonna trade Russell Wilson and draft a quarterback, and then you better be good, because if you trade Russell Wilson and you draft a quarterback and you whiff on that quarterback, you're gonna go down as one of the worst drop off of coaches in NFL history. And then it was Drew Brees, not you. So, And is it time to panic or not for the Bears? Yes, it is. You're in a Caleb Williams sweepstake. Welcome. Matt Eberflus might get fired. Matt Eberflus might get fired if they go 0-7. He might be gone. And Ryan Poles is not tied to Justin Fields. Justin Fields, guess what? We're drafting a quarterback. We got the draft capital. Some quarterbacks coming out next year. They might get Caleb Williams because they look like the worst team in the NFL right now. And we thought it was the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are playing hard. My bad. I thought they were tanking, but they're playing hard for that coach. They're putting their bodies on the line. They just beat the Cowboys. So Josh Dobbs is we thought let me tell you something. Kyler Murray comes back to this Cardinals team, they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. They are not in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. And the Rams, it's time to panic. You give Matthew Stafford a big contract, and guess what? He's not delivering. You have a young team with no draft packs. Listen, F them picks. It works for one season. I'm not agreeing with that strategy. I love building through the draft. I think I'm taking like Green Bay's approach, Philly's approach. I'm building through the draft. That's why Philly, San Francisco builds through the draft as well. That's why they were some of the best teams. The Cowboys built through the draft, right? Kansas City builds through the draft. Right? This is why they're the good teams that they are. I'm not a believer in that, and now it's coming to bite them right back. And, I mean, you got to be honest here. They just paid Matthew Stafford. They just paid him his contract, and they wanted him to, do a pay cut and all that. Matthew Stafford said, I'm not taking no pay cut and I'm not reworking my contract. So they're short. Now, I mean, because Matthew Stafford, let's look at his contract real quick, and then we're going to get to you, Craig. Matthew Stafford's contract right now is he signed a 4-year, $152 million contract. So, I mean, he signed a $60 million signing bonus and $130 million guaranteed. So he has a $20 million cap hit, $49 million and $50 million. He'll be 37 years old by the time they can cut him. I don't know. Maybe they can get out of it. I don't know. It's gonna cost them a lot. Because if they suck, right? Say the Rams suck and they get Michael Penix. He sits a year behind Stafford, and then you cut Stafford, take the dead cap of $37 million while you have a rookie on his deal. But right now, The Rams should be panicking because they have a 35-year-old quarterback who they just paid. They gave a $4-year, $160 million extension to. So, anyway, Craig, we're ready.
Okay, so this week I took a different approach. And I'm still doing the top 5, but I did it this week on the top 5 rule changes that I want to see in the NFL. Hopefully,
top 5 rule changes. I like that.
Probably won't happen next year. Who knows when it's going to happen? Maybe the next CBA. But I think there's some good ideas coming out of the XFL. So my number 5 one is the onside kick.
Okay.
In the XFL, there's no more onside kick. So in the fourth quarter, when you would normally do an onside kick, you had the ball at, I believe, your 25. I got to check the rules again. I know that you have to convert like a 4th and 15. So
yeah, for the NFL, yep.
If you just implement that rule into the NFL from the XFL, because the XFL and same thing with the USFL.
Was the NFL talking about it, or was
I'm not sure. I just know that those two leagues are kind of like experimental leagues anyway. So
yeah,
you can just take some of the rules that they have, and I like this one because the onside kick, man, it just doesn't get converted. I mean, last year was a 5.3% conversion rate. This year, no team is converted on it. The rule will only be in effect for the fourth quarter, so you couldn't pull a Denver Broncos and kick it on the first play of the game before the game even starts, basically on the first play, and do an onside kick. Nah, it would just be on the fourth quarter, and you would probably, for me, I would just set it up maybe like the 40-yard line, and then 4th and 15 or 4th and 20 or something like that. You try to convert it. If you get a touchdown, you get a touchdown. If you throw a pick six, you just throw a pick six. But it will kind of make the game more interesting, more exciting. I don't think the onside kick it's just not exciting anymore. I mean, you just run the 4th and something play and then treat it like a normal down. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
I mean, they've been talking about it, so I hope they do it.
I like this rule. Hopefully they'll at least try to tweak it or implement it or do something with it. I'll be cool with it. Still talking about the kickers. Another XFL rule is the extra point. I'm cool with the extra point. Like I'm glad they moved it back. It makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah,
it's not just a gimme. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Like the XFL, they have where there's no extra points. You go if you want a 1 point, then you go from the 2-yard line, like where the 2-point conversion is now for the NFL at 2. 1 point would be from the 2-yard line. At the 5-yard line, you can go for 2 points, and if you want to go for 3 points, it's all the way back at the 10. Now, if you want to implement that in there as well, if you want to keep the kicker still active, then you can just go for the 1 point. If you wanted to go for 2 points, you can go from the 2. If you wanted to go 3 points, you can go from the 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with either some way of getting like maybe like a 3-point play in there somewhere, or taking that whole extra point out in general and just having it go for 2 or 3 points from the 2, 5, or the 10-yard line or something like that, something to that effect. I'm cool with that. My number 3 rule change that I hope gets implemented, because I don't know, I just never liked it, and that's the amount of regular season games. It's not really a rule change, but it's like just the amount of games that are in the regular season. I think the NFL is the only league that I could think of, a professional league, that doesn't have an even amount of games. It makes it so you have 1 year, the NFC will have 9 home games and 8 road games, and then the year after it gets reversed, vice versa. Plus, you also have teams that don't get an extra home game because they're playing overseas, so they're losing out there. It's just, I mean, I just wanted to go to an even amount of games. It was fine with 16. Now I just wanted to go to 18.
They're going to 18. They're going. It's coming.
I assume so, but I just hate the 17.
I think they're gonna go 18 and one more playoff team. Speaking
of that, I got another playoff team for my next rule change. I hate the 17 rule. I hate the 17 thing. I like when they had it at 6. I thought that was okay, but now that they got 7, I just wanted to go to 8 and then stop at 8. Yep. I know people were complaining, or people were saying that's half the league, which it is half the league. But at the same time, like, it's not as many and people were saying that it's going to be a lot of teams under 500. It's going to make the playoffs. That's not really the case because I looked from the last 20 seasons. If you look back, going back from 2003 to 2022, there's been a total of 246 playoff teams. When the league went from 12 teams total between 2003 to 2019, and now it expanded to 14 in 2020. That's 246. Out of those 246, there have been 4 teams that have not been over 500, and all those teams have been division winners. So 2010 you had one, 2014, 2020, and then in 2022 with the Bucs, the last team.
Well, only division winners.
That's a 0.016 percentage. So that's not high at all, not even close. Now, if you were to take that same time frame but make it 8 teams per conference, so 16 teams total, you would have 320 teams total that would have made the playoffs. And out of those 320 total teams, 9 would have made the playoffs that would have had a below 500 record. That includes the 4 division winners. So now you're looking at 5 other teams that didn't win their division that would have had a below 500 record. So it's not that many teams and all those teams pretty much have been 7-9 or 7-8-1 or something like that. So it's not like they're, 6-11 making or 6-10 making the playoffs at that time. So, and that's a percentage of 0.028. Yeah. So it's not that bad. I don't think it would be that horrible. Plus, in the playoffs, it's just you never know what's going to happen. You see teams that are the second-ranked team against the 7th-ranked team, and it's a close game.
Yeah, it's a close game. Yeah, I don't think the team has won yet.
You can have the 4th-ranked.
The Giants was the Giants 7th last year.
The Giants were not. I don't know. I know the Giants were 7th when they were the worst team, not 7th. They were 6th when they won the Super Bowl. So I mean, it can happen. It's just. You got teams that you might have a 4th seed against the 5th seed, and that might be a blowout. You just never know. It's just it's football. It's any given Sunday. I mean, granted, the team, but if you are the 1 seed against the 8th seed or a 2 seed against the 7th seed, you're supposed to win. So you're supposed to. A blowout is kind of expected, but it just doesn't happen all the time. I think last year there was the Dolphins and the
Dolphins in Seattle.
No, the Dolphins and the Bills, the Dolphins and the Bengals.
Oh yeah.
That game was close in the playoffs. It was like a 3-point game.
Yeah. So they had 2 of it.
Yeah, they didn't even have 2. So anything can happen in the playoffs. So, and my number 1, which I've been saying this for years, is defensive holding, and I'm also adding hands to the face because that's also automatic first downs. I just wish they would just give them a 5-yard penalty and then just keep the down the same. If you're backed up to your 5 and it's 4th down and like 25,
and
you get a defensive holding, that's on the other side of the field. It doesn't even have anything to do with the play because the play is going to the right and defensive holdings on the left. It's automatic first down. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
the offense has way too much of an advantage. Like, I'm an offensive guy. I like a high scoring game versus a low scoring game, but at some point, like, you got to give the defense some type of help. Like, it's and just cut it out because when you get the offensive holding, it's not a loss of down. It's just a 10-yard penalty. Yeah. Same thing with offensive hands to the face. If the offensive lineman puts hands to the face, it's a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah.
So they got to figure that out. Hopefully they'll get it adjusted. I'm cool with like PIs and stuff like that, but defensive holdings, that's got to go. And hands to the face, first down, that's got to go. So that's my top 5 this week.
Yeah, I like that, man.
Next week, I am going to do my top 5 teams in the NFL, like after week 4, week 9, week 13, and week 18.
Cool. So, I've been looking it up. They've been flirting with that rule, Craig. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to that the 4th and 15. I think they're going to do it in the next year and a half to 2 years. I think
it'll be so much more exciting. And
I think that's what, because the NFL. I'm gonna give it to them though. They are big on excitement, and I would love it if a team, instead of an onside kick, can you imagine? Was that who had an onside kick? Was it like?
Denver had one of the first weeks of the season.
Yep, against us. That would have been good.
First game of the season, they did it first play against the Raiders.
But he was ridiculous for that. But I think Philly did it. I think Philly did it week 2. Was Philly that close where they had to do it? I think the Bengals did an onside kick.
I mean, if you want to do onside,
Yeah, I think Philly. I think Minnesota did it. It would have been good to see Minnesota on 4th and 15. Green Bay have a 4th and 15. The Bengals. It would have been nice because I'm be honest with you. Teams are rather gonna go for it on 4th and 15 and kick that onside kick. And fourth and 15s are difficult to get.
yeah, but if you get it, at least for the how I would implement it, if you get it and then if you break a 60-yarder and all of a sudden you get a touchdown, then you just get a touchdown. You fumble the ball and it gets turned over and they scoop and score. That's
what they're probably looking at. Because
I'd be cool with that.
In the XFL, how is it?
I don't know. I was trying to find it to figure out exactly what would happen. I couldn't find it. Maybe I got to do a little bit more digging on it and figure out where you would get the ball back if you don't get it, where to start from, if you score a touchdown or whatever it is, or do you just get the first down?
Right. Do you just get it? Do you get like as soon as you so that's a very interesting conversation, right? Because if you go for him on 4th and 15 and you throw a 50-yard bomb and he scores, I mean,
I'll be cool with him scoring.
Yeah,
I'll be cool with it.
If you throw a pick six, you gotta deal with it.
I'll be cool with either side scoring.
I think so. I like that. Whatever it's a 4th and 15. Whatever happens.
Yeah, you just treat it like a regular. Not a onside kick type where you don't convert it all of a sudden, or if you get 16 yards or 20 yards, you don't go back 5 yards because you converted the 4th and 15.
Yep. Now I do agree with this. What are your thoughts on this? If it's 4th and 15, a team goes for it and they get 20 yards, do they automatically get a timeout? Like does it like they get the you know what I'm saying? Or do they gotta use their own? It's very interesting.
Oh,
like a 2-minute warning. Yeah,
I don't know how to. Maybe the clock just wouldn't stop. Maybe they got to just be in hurry up mode or something like that. I don't know. That's
gonna be interesting. This is a good conversation to have. This is a good conversation. That would be interesting. I would live for it. I hope they do it, and it makes sense. I think they are gonna do it because it's the NFL. I think they are gonna. The onside kick will still be an option, but I think the 4th and 15. And I do think they're going to go to 8 teams with 18 games. It just makes sense to me. If they go 18 games, you might as well go 8 playoff games.
Yeah, at this point
and then to be honest with you, nobody's watching the preseason. Players and coaches say they like to joint practices more. I would implement more of those joint practices. Versus nobody's watching the preseason now.
Yeah, but they're not gonna.
Nobody watches preseason.
The owners are not gonna not have preseason games. They're still gonna want their 3. They're still getting the same amount of games as they did before, but they want the same amount of games because it's gonna be money. Now I don't know if they would take it down to 2 and then keep the regular season or bring the regular season up to 18.
I think they should take it down. If it go 18, I think they should take it down to 2, but they should have more joint practices in there.
Yeah.
You know,
I can see that.
Yeah,
maybe they'll go that way because they won't be losing any money at that point. That's pretty much what they care about.
Yeah, because they will replace a preseason game with a regular season game. Easy, that's easy money. They not, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think people watch. August is like dead space, man. Nobody watch. I don't watch preseason.
I don't watch it either.
Nobody plays. Patrick Mahomes played, but. I mean, people don't play, man. So I don't watch it.
It's a lot of fools going out there with preseason because Justin Fields looked good in preseason, so did Kenny Pickett and all this other stuff from what I've been hearing and what I've seen on SportsCenter. But
they look
when it comes to the actual regular season, it's just not the same game.
Yeah, they look good against vanilla defenses.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Now, this is one of my, you know what? It's becoming up there. One of my favorite topics, man. and I like it, and I think we should keep doing it. And I was right last week. I threw it out there too. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Houston beat Jacksonville, and they beat them. Actually, man, shout out to C.J. Stroud. He's looking good, man. We all liked him anyway, so he looks good, man. Um. So, all right, Mo, pick one crazy upset for NFL Week 4.
I'm gonna go back week. It's just crazy one here. I just feel like pride. Your pride got to come here. I'm gonna say Washington on Philly. I just think, man, pride got hit now. After a while, coach's job on the line. Sam Howell, either gonna grow up or you're not. Like I can see us coming back, a bounce back game. Okay. We played well against Philly last year. I wouldn't be surprised if we upset them.
Oh, okay. All right. Craig, who you got with your crazy upset week alert? Who you picking?
I decided to go with, I don't know why they're even underdogs, but I'm going with Houston over Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I just looked at that. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I mean, Houston's at home. They just won a big game last week. Pittsburgh has looked mediocre at best. I can't really pick them going this week. C.J. Stroud looks really good. He has 900 yards passing. I mean, he looks, for a team that I thought was going to be terrible. I mean, they're still 1-2, but they're playing really, really well. So
they're playing good. They might win 7 games. I'm
going Houston.
They're looking good. All right. So last week, I did a good one. This week, I'm jumping out there. I think I'm gonna go with. Oh, this is hard because. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me look at the spread on this one because I think I'm gonna pick this one. Let me see. And yep. I'm picking the Raiders upsetting the Chargers. Let's go. The Raiders are going to upset the Chargers. It's a divisional game. Jimmy G. Hey, Devontae is going to go off. And I'm telling you right now, the Raiders are going to beat the Chargers. The Chargers are not a good team. Watch what I tell y'all, man. They're going to beat them in LA. Watch. And it's going Brandon Staley ain't going to know what to do. I'm telling you, Raiders over the Chargers. Shout out, man. Let's go. Let's see if I'm right again, man. I like this jump out there. I like yours, Craig, too. And Mo, we'll see. Because it's on. We know who you're gonna pick for who you got. But we're gonna see, man. So we're gonna see, man. All right, Craig. We're going to start off with you, man. And my favorite topic always. I love this because we break down offenses, defenses, coaches, break down who we think is going to win the NFL game. And we usually pick about 5 games that are excellent, and we think their matchups are great. Some surprise teams on here that weren't on here last year. Some teams who were on here last year. So, all right, Craig, for my favorite segment. Ooh, wait till I get this soundboard, man. I'm telling y'all, it's coming, and I'm not going to sound crazy anymore because I sound crazy. All right, Craig, Lions versus Packers. Who you got?
Okay, so coaching, I'm going. That's tough. Man. I guess I'm gonna go Matt LaFleur. I don't. I mean, it's really close. Man, I don't know, man. Campbell's done a really good job so far. Even though they've been pretty much in every single game, even the game that they lost to Seattle. But man, give me. I guess I'm gonna just go Matt LaFleur. They, like I said, they both done really good jobs of coaching this year. Actually, you know what? No. Give me Dan Campbell. You know why? Because they played a tougher schedule. They played a tougher schedule. They played Kansas City in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
They played Seattle. Even it was a home game, but it was a playoff team from last year. And then they played the Falcons, who was a 2-0 team coming into that game. They had the running game going. They just got Drake London involved. They looked pretty good last week. They came back and beat the Packers. So I got to go with Dan Campbell.
Ooh.
Yeah, just give me Dan Campbell, man. I think the way they played last week, I gotta go with him. Offense, I'm going with Detroit. Detroit's offense, even though they didn't show it last week because they played a really good team on defense, a really good defensive team. But normally the offense is really high octane. You can expect them to score. I mean, sometimes they score 30 points, and it's just you don't even blink an eye about it. Green Bay's offense is still trying to get there. I'm not sure if Watson's going to play this week. I'm not sure if Aaron Jones is going to play this week. Those guys, if they're in the lineup, it's going to change the whole dynamic of this offense. But as of right now, they're not scoring enough. I mean, besides the first game of the season, they anybody scores on the Bears. So I mean, that's not really saying too much. Then they blew the lead against the Falcons, and then last week a tough defensive game against the Saints. The Saints are really good on defense, but until Watson and maybe Aaron Jones gets back, I can't really pick the Packers offense, at least not in this matchup. Defensively, I'm going to go with Green Bay.
4 hours ago, they did come out and said they both Watson and Jones might be available Thursday night.
Well, hopefully they are. They might be on like a play count or something like that. We'll see, but it's just. I would like to see how this offense can look when everybody's healthy. Which is, it's hard to NFL when that everybody. It's always injuries involved, but I really want to give Jordan Love a fighting chance with everybody that he can throw the ball to or hand the ball off to. Mm-hmm. Defense, I'm going with Green Bay. I think their defense is solid. It's definitely better than Detroit's. Even though Detroit's defense only gave up 6 points last week, their defense is playing solid. They gave up 6 points last week. Week 1, they only gave up 20 points to the Chiefs, first game of the season, even though they didn't have Kelsey. But their defense is stepping up. But I gotta go slightly with Green Bay. Plus, I think the cornerback from Detroit is out for a while. He's on the IR, so that's another knock on them. Charlie Garner, whatever his name is.
Charlie Garner, came from the Eagles.
He's gone. But in this game, it's in Green Bay. Last year, though, Detroit went into Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers there and knocked them out of the playoffs. Early in the season matchup, though, can this happen again? It's possible. Give me because I'm not sure if Watson is going to play. Give me Detroit.
Ooh.
Yeah, give me Detroit 27-21.
All right. Mo, Lions versus Packers. Who you got? It sounds like a good game, 27-21.
Yeah. Coaching, I'm going to take Matt LaFleur still. Dan Campbell's doing a good job. I'm looking at more overall body work. Offense, I'm gonna go with Detroit. I like Gibbs, combination of Gibbs and Montgomery, and then St. Brown. Eventually they'll get back Williams. They got young tight end, so I like what they got.
Musgrave.
Defensively, I like what Green Bay's done, so I'll take Green Bay right now, especially with like what Craig said with that corner out. I'll take Green Bay. Overall, I don't know if Green Bay ready yet. I mean, you still, looking for that hump. I mean, it's different. Still, Aaron's gone. I think Detroit, these are one of the games you got to win if you're still trying to prove that you're trying to go over the hump. But I think it is going to be a competitive game. I'm going to go 28-20 Detroit.
Oh, all right. Detroit Lions versus the Green Bay Packers. Coaching, I'm going to go with Dan Campbell just because he likes biting kneecaps. Okay. So, I think Dan Campbell, they went to Kansas City and won. I think that he knows that there's been a lot of talk about the Lions winning the division and going to the playoffs. And it starts with this right here. So we're going to see how good of a coach he is. But Matt LaFleur is a good coach also. I just kind of give the edge to Dan Campbell. Even though Matt LaFleur has these guys playing, man, they're playing. So offense, I got to go Lions just because of the quarterback. I think Jared Goff is a better quarterback. They got Sam Laporta, who's killing right now, which I drafted in fantasy. He said that tight end from Detroit's killing. St. Brown should be back. And they got Gibbs, the rookie, who I don't think he's on a pitch count, but they want to kind of use him like Alvin Kamara. In Green Bay, Craig said it, man. They're just missing a lot of weapons. Aaron Jones, Christian Watson. Now, I heard that they might play Thursday. I think that changes the dynamic of the game. But right now, I have to go like they're not playing because they're not. They're hurt. Defense. I got to go with Green Bay. Even with Jair Alexander out, Green Bay's defense has been good, man. They limited the Saints to 17 points, but it's the Saints, or some people call them the Aints. But yeah, remember that one. But I got to give it to the Packers. I think the Lions' defense is still a work in progress, and we're going to be talking about that all year. And I just give Packers the edge. This game is going to come down to to be honest, I'm going to give the edge to the Lions. It's going to be close. I don't think Green Bay's fully healthy. But it's going to be a close game like it always is. It's a divisional game. It's Thursday night. It's going to be on live TV. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be electric. Lions have been in some great games already this year. There were some great games already last year. But I have the Lions winning 28-20. I have Detroit win 28-20. All right, Mo. Dolphins versus Bills. Who you got?
All right, Dolphins versus Bills coaching. It's tough. I can't. For me, it's either go body of work or this season. So it's like body of work. You gotta go McDermott. This season, you gotta go with their coach.
Okay.
I'm gonna go McDermott though. I'm always a body of work type of person. McDermott just has done a great job. I would hate to see him being the Tony Dungy situation where they feel like, hey, we're giving you enough time. This is a great team. We got to strike by the hot and get rid of him. But I think he's a great coach. So I'm going to go McDermott. Offense, of course, I'm going to go Dolphins. Starting Josh Allen's starting to turn the corner. I like how Buffalo's backs are starting to hit the hole. Diggs is on fire against us. I always like was Davis. They got two tight ends, but I'm gonna go Miami. Just Hill. They with no Waddle, 70 points. I don't care who you was facing. That's just crazy. But you got Hill. You got two backs that can put them 100 in sleep. You got Hill. You got Waddle. You got weapons across the board. A defense who can play, who can make some plays. Defensively, I'm gonna go Buffalo. I just think their edge rushers, their secondary, Russo, Oliver. I think their edge rushers are strong. This game, this is a proving game for Miami. I feel like You know what I'm saying? You want to prove that you're a true threat in this division. We know New England's down. You know the Jets are down. So right now you kind of say it's a two-horse race. So, man, I'm in a classic, man. I'm in a classic. I'm going to go Miami. Last second field goal, 27-24.
Ooh, all right.
In a tough game.
Ooh, okay. Dolphins versus Bills. Who you got coaching? I'm going with my man Mike McDaniel, man. He's offensive genius. I like him coming out of San Francisco. I like the reports coming out of. No offense to Sean McDermott, but there are questions we have to see how he finishes the season if he's going to be there. You know, Mike McDaniels is going to be there, and I'm going with the sure thing. Young, innovative, offensive young coach, and he's honest and unapologetically himself, and players love that about him. Offense. I'm going with now the Bills' offense is like that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not their offense. They put their foot in the Redskins behind, and we'll get to the Commanders. Listen, I'm a fan, so it slips out sometimes. We'll talk about the Commanders later. But to be honest with you, man, I gotta go the Dolphins offense. Tua is playing at the MVP level. Like I loved him coming out of Alabama. Craig knows this. He is just it's always a health issue. If he stays healthy this year, their team is gonna go really far. Man, especially if they get home field. Watch out. And you got Waddle. You got Tyreek Hill. That was a Waddle. That's his dance. You got the rookie, can't pronounce his name, Moser, and it's just they're listen, they got race cars, man, and they like to race. They got track stars and they winning gold medals out there. That's how they're going. All right. Defense, I gotta go Buffalo. Miami's defense is a work in progress. It's probably going to be better next year when Vic Fangio. He'll be able to get some more players and players learn the system. But Buffalo's defense is a lot better. I mean, just look what it did to the Commanders. But I mean, the Commanders is fool's gold, but that's neither here nor there. Let me stop bashing my team. So the Bills' defense is just better. Sean McDermott's a better defensive coach. They got dogs on the offensive line. They have two great safeties. But besides that, I'm picking the Dolphins to win the game. They're going to be in Buffalo. The weather is nice, and it's not going to be snowing. It's not going to be cold. Well, it might be cold. It's Buffalo. But I got two. They always play Buffalo well in Buffalo. I got two coming out, and I think this is going to be a really good, explosive game. But I have Miami winning 35-31. Craig, who you got? Dolphins versus Bills.
Coaching, I'm going McDaniel. The job he's done so far this season, the team's 3-0. When Tua's healthy, he started out the season last year. He was healthy. They were like 4-0, 5-0 to start the season. So they're just kind of picking up where they left off from the beginning of the season before he got hurt. Yeah, and 70 points. So I gotta go. And then on the other side, you got Sean McDermott, who lost to the Jets again with Zach Wilson. He's a great coach, but I just can't pick him in this matchup just because of that's part of it. Offense, 70 points. Defense, the Bills' offense is really good, but come on, man. The defense, I'm going to Bills. 9 sacks last week. They were just at 4 interceptions, 5 total turnovers. Got a pick 6 in there. This is going to be a tough task for the Dolphins defense.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough game. Unfortunately, we don't even get to see this game on TV, man. So I gotta watch it on my laptop. But I'm looking forward to this game. And I think the Dolphins are going to pull it out. Last year it was a tough game, but they lost by 3. I think it's going to be probably another 3-score game. I'm going 32-29. Or excuse me, 33-30. Sorry, Dolphins.
Woo! All right. Now, I'm going to do the Ravens and the Browns. Who you got? Coaching. I'm going to go Harbaugh. Of course, I think Harbaugh is he's just a good coach, man. He always has the Ravens playing well. They're in contention. They just got a lot of injuries right now, but Ravens have always been a good team since he's been head coach and since they have the wonderful Action Jackson. That's Lamar Jackson. I think they're really good. I think they're phenomenal, right? I think he's just a phenomenal head coach. Uh, Offense. I got to give it to Lamar. I gotta give it to Lamar Jackson in the offense. Odell Beckham should be back. Zay Flowers is a stud at wide receiver. I don't know if you know. They always have a good running game. Now, there's nothing wrong with Cleveland, but I gotta see for more Deshaun Watson. Their receiving core is better than the Ravens with Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore. They've been playing phenomenal. But as far as the overall body of work, and if you talk about the offense, I have to put the quarterbacks in there. I have to pick Lamar Jackson over Deshaun Watson. Even though Deshaun Watson did play well last week, I'm still going with Lamar and the Ravens offense. Defense, Cleveland. Do you guys know that the Cleveland Browns have the best defense in the NFL right now? Overall, best defense. And they've been playing like it. I'm not going to lie. They've been playing like it. I'm going to pick them. The Ravens defense started off strong last year. I just think they have a lot of injuries, and they have to fix that. But even though Cleveland has the best defense in the NFL, I don't see the Ravens losing back-to-back. Lamar doesn't do that. I truly believe that this is going to be an ugly game, but I have the Ravens beating the Browns 21-17. It's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be a grind-out game, hard-hitting. So but I got the Ravens. All right, Craig, Ravens versus Browns. Who you got?
Coaching, I'm going with Harbaugh. Even though last week they lost, or last week, this past weekend they lost a game that they shouldn't have lost, in my opinion. Yeah. Their offense had so many chances and so many opportunities, and they're going up against Garner Minshew and not Anthony Richardson. So that running game dynamic from the quarterback standpoint was not even there, and they still ended up losing the game. So, but at the end of the day, I'm just really not sold on Kevin Stefanski as of right now. The team 2-1, so you got to give them credit for that. But and it was a big win the first game of the season against the Bengals, shut them out shut them down for the most part. But I'm going Jim Harbaugh. Offense, I'm going Ravens. It's close because the Ravens are missing Dobbins. Odell Beckham might not play. Andrews hasn't looked like Andrews. Like I forgot he was even on the squad. Flowers is there. He looks solid. I forgot Bateman was on the squad too. Like they're just not really getting the ball. They need to figure something out. It's a new offensive coordinator. I understand that, but I mean they got to figure some things out with that offense because their passing game and it should be a lot. It should be a lot better than what it is. You shouldn't have to keep relying. I know he's an MVP candidate and he can run the ball with his legs, but you shouldn't have to keep relying on Lamar Jackson every single time to do something with his legs. I mean, he had no touchdowns last week. So, it's just they got to figure it out. The Browns, I mean, finally Deshaun Watson showed up for a game. He looked, I mean, granted they played the Titans, but he looked pretty good. I mean, I think it's his best game since he's been on the Browns. If he can keep this momentum going, I mean, I'm kind of with Mo there. I think they can make the playoffs or at least make a run to the playoffs. But yeah, I think their offense is starting to come around. It's unfortunate that at least the passing game. It's unfortunate that Chubb went down for the rest of the season. I thought Jerome Brown was going to be the starting running back. I mean, they didn't even really try to run the ball, or they had like 8 people running the ball, or 8 people got a carry. Like crazy. I don't know what they're doing up there with the running game. At least the passing game was good. Defense, I am with you. I'm going with the Browns. The Browns had the best in terms of total yards, the best defense in the NFL. They gave up the least amount of points. when they win games, they give up 3 points in each game. When they lose, they gave up like 27, 26 or something like that when they lost to the Steelers. So if they're gonna win this game, they're gonna probably give up around 3 points. I doubt it, but we'll see. The Ravens defense is good, man, but it's just like the same thing for like the last, I don't know, 3-4 years. There is so many injuries on both sides of the ball, but the defense, which is what they're pretty much known for, they're a staple of. It's always some injuries going on. But when they're healthy, they're solid. I'm going with the Ravens in this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, a defensive game. Both defenses are in the top 10.
Yep.
It's just I'm not sure what Deshaun is going to show up, what running game is going to show up. Who's going to step up for the most part for the Ravens in terms of receiving. So I just don't see a lot of points. So I'm going Ravens 20-16.
All right, Mo. Ravens versus Browns. Who you got?
Coaching. I'm gonna go Harbaugh. Just overall body work. Even with the injuries over the years, still getting the team to come up. To be ready, prepared, play hard. Even through the injuries, they play hard. They never really quit on them. So I'm going to go Harbaugh. Offensively, this tough, man. Offensively, I'm going to go Cleveland. Only because I haven't seen it yet from Baltimore, what we've talked about. I mean, I just haven't seen it. With the excitement, the new receivers, how the offense is supposed to pop. It still looks the same, but let me say this. They're calling more aggressive. They are calling more aggressive plays, but it seems like their best plays is the same thing we've seen from 3 years ago, where the run game was Lamar pulling it. It's not the consistent downfield throws that we were looking for. And when everybody was like, oh, this wide receiver group about to pop. You got Odell, you got Flowers, you got Bateman. It just doesn't look like what they've been saying. Defensively, I'm gonna take Cleveland. I just Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward in the secondary, Newsome, Dupitt. They've drafted well. Like a lot of people don't realize is they're almost their entire defense they drafted. They didn't go out there and spend a lot of money. That defense for the most part is people they drafted. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
they've done a great job. I think it's going to come down to a close game. It's going to come down to what quarterback can make more plays. After how Baltimore lost that game and how that went down, I just can't. I see Harbaugh not losing 2 straight. I see he's going to have them prepared.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go in a close game, though. And I think it's going to be a low-scoring game from an NFL standpoint.
Yeah.
But I got Baltimore on a last-second field goal, 20-17.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be – these divisional games are going to be low-scoring, man. This is going to be a tough one. Mo, I'm going to start out with you. Bucs versus Saints.
Ooh.
Who you got?
I ain't very high on either coach, so I'm gonna go push on the coaches. I know we ain't done no pushing in a while, but I can't pick one, yo. I can't pick one.
You can't pick it.
Maybe I can't pick one. Yo. I can't.
Greg, the coaches are that bad. He said push. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't. I gotta go push on the coaches. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
I gotta go push on the coaches. I can't pick no coach. Not in this situation. Offense. I'm gonna go Saints.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about Kamara coming back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Saints. Especially when you talk about Kamara's about to come back. You know what they already have. Added with Kamara, I like Michael Thomas starting to show flashes of his old self. We got Chris Olave. So I'm gonna go Saints, even though Baker does look happier than he's ever have been. He looks calm. He looks like the old Baker. I didn't know recently until they showed it how many head coaches and coordinators he's been through since he got here in the league. It's ridiculous.
Been doing a lot, man.
Like I think it's like 8 head coaches he's had since he's been in the league. He only been in the league 6 years.
Yeah.
But like I said, offensively, yeah, I'm gonna go with New Orleans. Defensively, I'm gonna go with New Orleans as well. It's gonna be interesting now. It's gonna be interesting to see how they integrate Kamara back slowly into the offense. Is Carr? I don't think Carr is playing. Carr playing?
I don't know.
No.
Right? With the shoulder.
Yeah.
He's out.
Yeah, he's out. Who's out? Yeah.
That's what Mr. 30 for 30 going to do. I don't know what James is going to do. It's tough. 30 for 30. All right. All right. I'm in another tight divisional game. I don't know, Jameis. I see it. So until I see it consistently again, I hate to say this, but I'm gonna go tap in the close one. I'm gonna go 20. I'm gonna go 27-24.
All right. I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna say the Bucs versus the Saints. I'm gonna go with the coaching. I'm going Todd Bowles. I think Todd Bowles is a better coach than Dennis Allen. Mo, you're silly with the push. I get it. I understand it. I understand it totally. You're like, I'm not picking either or. I understand. But I'm gonna go with Todd Bowles. I think his resume is a little bit better, obviously. And he just listen. I mean, they had Tom Brady, and they still won a division last year. I got to take that into account. And the Saints might still be the 8th. We don't know that yet. We don't know. But I'm going with Todd Bowles as better coaching. Dennis Allen scares me, man. He scares me. If they don't win the division this year or are good, then that's a testament to Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. Yeah, I mean, maybe Josh McDaniels saw something that the world didn't see. So we'll see, though. It's still early. Offense, I'm going with, let's see, you got Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, or you got James Winston, Alvin Kamara comes back, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. They got two pretty good offenses. They got Rashad White, but I'm gonna lean more towards the Saints. I'm gonna cancel the quarterbacks out because I don't think Baker is better than Jameis. I don't know. Not a big fan of Baker Mayfield. Dangerous, you know what I'm saying? I'm not but I like Jameis Winston, but 30 for 30, Mo was right. But I just think Olave and I just think they got better receivers, man. I think they got better receivers. And Kamara's coming back. So I think Jameis Winston, this is against his old team. He's gonna have something to prove. Now the defense is the Saints. Saints have a better D. They listen, let me tell you something about this Saints D. They're pretty good, and Tampa Bay's defense hasn't been as good as recent years, but the Saints defense has been excellent. They have been phenomenal. I'm gonna give you this, and I said this last week, and I'm gonna continuously say this. Dennis Allen might not be a good coach for offense, but he's a damn near good coach for defense, and that's what I would always, think about if you're a head coach. If that side of the ball is doing good, then at least you're a great coordinator. So I gotta go with the Saints. They have a top 10 defense in the NFL right now. So I think this game is going to be good. I think it's going to be sneaky good. I think that the Bucs lose 2 in a row. I'm just not a fan of not Baker Mayfield going against that defense. That's not happening. And they're in New Orleans. I just don't see the Bucs winning. I think Baker Mayfield's going to have another bad game. And, I don't know if this Tampa starts reeling or not, but I think the Saints pull it out. And I think Jameis Winston comes out, has a big game. I think the Saints beat them 28-17. Craig, Bucs versus Saints, who you got?
All right, so coaching, I didn't want to do a push, and I couldn't figure out which coach I really wanted, so I did a random generator.
Oh, who is it?
Came up with Allen.
Oh, came up with Allen. All right,
I'm gonna just go with Allen, man. Like I don't really have any rhyme or reason. The wheel generator just picked it, so I mean, you look at, I don't know, man. I'm just going with Allen. They're both 2-1. Allen's a really good defensive coach, and that's what the team has pretty much been leaning on so far, especially without Alvin Kamara in the lineup. So now that he's back, it's unfortunate that I'm not gonna say unfortunate because I hate the team, but when he comes back, Derek Carr he's out. So this team still hasn't been 100% of what they could be or what they will be probably by the end of the season in terms of everybody that's supposed to be on the field on the field. Offense. Offense. I'm going with the Bucs just because their offense looks a lot. I guess it looks a lot better in terms of putting up points. Now I get it, Kamara hasn't been there, but when Derek Carr was in the lineup, he wasn't really lighting the team on fire like everybody thought he was going to. And Baker Mayfield on the other side kind of was. Now I kind of get it. The Saints, that's like I said, they didn't have Kamara. They're bringing in a new quarterback, but they're also bringing a new quarterback in Tampa. The team is relying on defense, and in New Orleans, the team is relying on defense in Tampa for the most part. So, Derek Carr had one touchdown coming into this week. I think he got another touchdown, so that was good. But I'm just not feeling the Saints' offense right now. Once Kamara comes back, I think they might be able to take off. But with all those guys that they have, those weapons with the wide receivers, and it's unfortunate that Jamal Williams went down. He's on the IR, so that didn't help either. But I don't know, man. Then you look at the defense. I'm going with the Saints. The defense is really good, man. This is what the Saints do. The Bucs defense is good too, but the Saints defense is I mean, just really, really good. I mean, they've given up 15, 17, and 18.
That's crazy.
So I got to go with the Saints defense. This is a divisional game. I mean, you look at who these teams have played. I mean, the Bucs have played the 0-3 Vikings right now, the 0-3 Bears, and the 3-0 Eagles. And then you look at the Saints, they played the 1-2 Titans, the 0-3 Panthers, and now the 2-1 Packers. The Saints schedule obviously is a lot tougher to me. You don't have any offers in there. But I take that back. You got the Panthers. I'm sorry. But I think this is going to be a low-scoring divisional type of game. This is what the Saints and the Bucs kind of do when they play each other. Two really good defenses, two lackluster offenses that have weapons out there. I mean, they each have a running back. They each have two good wide receivers. I'm going with the Saints. Give me the Saints 19-13. I think it's going to be low-scoring, and I'm not sure what James is going to do. I'm really not sure what Baker's going to do.
Yeah.
He didn't look good yesterday, so kind of think we're going to get that Baker. And Jameis didn't look good in the limited time that he played, so we'll see what happens.
All right, Craig, Commanders versus Eagles. Who you got?
Coaching, I'm going with Sirianni. I like Ron Rivera, obviously, but Sirianni has done an amazing job with this team so far. The team is 3-0. So, I mean, they haven't played like the Eagles, like you would thought the Eagles were going to play. Kind of struggled here and there with the Patriots, struggled putting away the Vikings. They let them back in the game. Finally seen the defense shine last night. So still waiting for that offense to come around a little bit more, especially from Hurts. Offensively, I'm picking the Eagles. AJ Brown was moaning and complaining after week 2, and he ends up getting like 14 targets or something. 14 to 15 targets. So, I don't know, man. But overall, still the offense still has a ways to go. Jalen Hurts still kind of just doesn't. Like we said last week, this is a new offensive coordinator coming in there, so it's just might be a little bit of growing pains. They're still 3-0, but they just haven't looked like that 3-0 Eagles team that I thought would have kind of started the season so far. kind of been lackluster on offense. The Commanders, they're still with the quarterback after last week. I can't pick that offense. I think they need to kind of run the ball more a little bit. I don't know, man. The offensive line is just not good either, giving up 9 sacks. So the Eagles team, it looked like they could get after the quarterback. Defensively, I gotta go with the Eagles. Just from top to bottom overall. Mm-hmm. I do think that the Commanders' defense is really good, especially the front four. The defense, I mean, they didn't really give up a lot of. I mean, they gave up a lot of plays to Stephon Diggs, but they kind of held at least in the passing game. Josh Allen only had like 212 yards passing. So
yeah, it was defense.
It was mostly the defense. Mm-hmm. Kind of give them short fields, and obviously the takeaways help. So you got to give them credit for that. But I just think that the Eagles defense is really, really good. They need to play like it, though. I'm still waiting for them to have that really good game against a really good team. So we'll see what happens this week. Both teams are playing pretty well, but I think the Eagles can take that next step and move into that next gear. I'm still waiting to see what happens. Can the Commanders bounce back? Can Sam Howell, can he shake off those 4 turnovers and those 9 sacks? I think he's going to be running for his life again because that defensive line from the Eagles is really good as well. So
yeah,
I know they went in there and beat them last year, but I'm not seeing it this year. So I'm going with the Eagles. Give me the Eagles 30-20.
Oh, Mo. We know who you picking, but I want to hear the breakdown. Commanders versus Eagles. Who you got?
Hey, coaching. I mean, gotta go Sirianni. Gotta go Sirianni. Just clear cut, body of work. Ron Rivera's been to a Super Bowl, but so is Sirianni. So just overall body of work. I'll go Sirianni. Defense, offense. I'm gonna go Eagles. AJ Brown, how Swift is looking. Jalen Hurts. We got Devontae Smith. Goddard. We got tight end. It was clicking. They had some hiccups here and there, but when they on. Their running game is ridiculous. Defensively, I'm gonna go. Defensively, I'm gonna go Philly. Their secondary just better than us. It can come down to the secondary, the back seven for me. But their back seven more consistent. We got a rookie back there who's looked lost at times like a rookie. He's made some splash plays, but he's looked lost at times. I just think when you're Ron Rivera, your back is truly against the wall, new ownership, and you come out and you let Buffalo just totally embarrass you and totally outcoach you, outplay you like this. I just think you either got to grow up or this season can turn real quick. I can just see you upset. I mean, I think we're gonna come out physical, come out hard. In a close game and last second field goal, I got us winning a tough game. I got us winning. I'm gonna go 28-24. I'm gonna go 28-25.
All right. Commanders versus Eagles. Who you got? Okay, guys. Coaching, I have to go Nick Sirianni. I think he's a better coach. He just come off the Super Bowl. Even though the Eagles are 3-0, I kind of like where he's saying that they have a lot more improvement to growth. I think that is just a testament of a leader. Nothing wrong with Ron Rivera, but I liked the hire, and then I didn't like the hire. It got me really quick, and I was just like, he's just made some questionable decisions, and I don't like it. I gotta pick Nick Sirianni over coaching. Offense, I don't know what's going on with Jahan Dotson. Maybe he's not getting the targets from Howell. Howell needs to learn to slide, by the way. He's just running into defenders. That's how you get hurt in the NFL. And they have Terry McLaurin, but I gotta go with the Eagles. They got Jalen Hurts, who's being Jalen Hurts. They have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Swift, Gainwell. They have a better O line. They got Goddard. Like the offense is just it's just better than the Commanders. Defense, the defense is better than the Commanders. And like, do you know that the Eagles is giving up 145 rushing yards for the season? That's the best in the NFL. I think their defensive front is sick. Their linebackers are good. Shout out to the University of Georgia football team that they have up front, and it's paying off dividends. So I'm gonna pick. Dang, that's 3 for Philly. And if you have 3 picked against you, means you're gonna lose the game, guys. The head coach is better, the defense is better, and the offense is better. I'm gonna tell you, I'm a Commanders fan, and we're gonna get dominated again in this game. And it's just like we're not going to be able to run the ball, and our offensive line is terrible. And I've been saying it all year long. I've been saying it all summer. I don't know why people do not believe me. Our offensive line sucks, and Philly is going to eat. And this is not going to be a close game. Once again, Philly is going to beat us 35-10. That's a wrap, folks. So we'll see. Craig, what was the score you picked?
It's at 30-20.
Yeah, it's just our O line sucks, man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's O line. I think they've given up 55 sacks so far to Sam Howell, which is the most in the NFL. Our O line sucks, man.
55 sacks this season?
No, since he's been starting. Let me.
No.
How many sacks have we given up? Let me.
They're giving up 19.
It's double digits. Double digits.
It's 19 this year.
Oh, I'm sorry. 55 with somebody else. My apologies.
I mean, 19 in 3 games.
That's almost, he's on pace. He's on pace for 55.
He's on pace for more than that. He's on pace for like 118 or something.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not going to happen, but I mean, God.
Our O-line is horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible, and we're going to pay for it. But look, Mo, we got the Bears week 5. Okay, that's a win.
And then Atlanta. What? Atlanta after that?
Then we have.
That's a tough game.
No.
Chicago, right? Coming up soon?
Yeah, then we got Chicago, then Atlanta after this.
Chicago.
That should be an easy one.
We have Atlanta.
And then the Giants, I think. Something like that.
Right, so that should be 2 wins.
Okay.
I don't think Atlanta's good. I think we're gonna beat Atlanta.
But we always play down to that. We always be in a dog fight. Like last year, we was in the street dog fight.
Giants is gonna be an interesting game. Saquon might be back.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a game to watch out for. Then we got the Eagles again. That's another loss. We should beat the Patriots, but with our O-line issues, I don't know. Belichick plays really good against quarterbacks. That might be a loss. Seattle might be a loss. Giants, we'll probably split with the Giants. Then we got the Cowboys. Then we got the Dolphins. We should be able to beat the Rams and the Jets. So that's like 6-7 wins, though. Anyway, I'm just saying, man. Like, I'm a Commanders fan.
Hey, man! Shout out to the Orioles, who I think a couple games away from winning the division. The Baltimore Orioles. I said shout out to them for
shout out to them.
Playoffs. They might win the division.
They said a lot of people like the Baltimore Orioles. Some people picked them to win the the World Series. I mean, hey, that'll be nice for Baltimore if if Orioles won the World Series. That'd be tough. I think Baltimore would like it. Dang, Atlanta Braves is crazy.
Yeah. They're like 156 or something crazy like that. I'm like,
yeah, this is gonna be good, man. This is gonna be good, man. This is gonna be good. Clinch division. Brewers clinch the wild card. Braves clinch the division. Orioles clinch the wild card. Tampa Bay Rays clinch the wild card. Twins clinch the division. So it's gonna be interesting, man. But anyway, guys, I am looking forward to next week. I know it might be a blowout, but I'm definitely watching the USC Colorado game. I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to watch some other college football games. Hey, Sunday, guys, we got the NFL from 9:30 to 8 p.m. I love it. Let's see what Jacksonville does because I don't. Jacksonville better win. But I heard Doug Peterson took over the play calling, so it might change. It might change. But anyway, guys. All right, guys. That viewer out there, thank you for tuning in fourth quarter. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Right? I'm just gonna say airtime 7:15 so you can get it going, man. We appreciate everybody. We're gonna catch y'all later. And we are out. Peace.